And I think we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Blockchain Game Alliance, and I am your host for today, Rogue. You can just call me Rogue by my name. And welcome to this November's new members presentation. So, as you know, in the Blockchain Game Alliance, we advocate Web3 gaming. For those out there who's relative new in Web3 gaming, welcome, welcome, welcome to the new members presentation. We got some new projects for you here today. We got Score, Ethics, and of course, Dynamic. So in this new members presentation, each of us is going to have 15 minutes worth of time. You're going to discuss your name, of course, your position, and of course what you do. So each of you are gonna have 15 minutes, and let's just start it off. Okay, starting off, let's welcome Manas Kumar, which is from Score. He is the Chief Marketing Officer. You have the floor. Welcome, Manas. You may now have the
Thanks,
floor.
guys. Thanks, Rob, for the opportunity. First off, wanted to thank BG and the rest of the team for giving us this opportunity to showcase ourselves. Me and the rest of the score team are very excited about our partnership and also the opportunity it brings for us. Just to give a short intro, I'm Manas, lead all the marketing efforts here at Score. I've been in the gaming industry for over the past 8 years now, helping multiple brands with scaling their platforms and essentially with growth, business development, and such. If you just talk about my last year instance, I was working with the Ampus, which is a top esports brand in Southeast Asia, and also a platform known as Stan, which has over 20 million users. I've also worked with a lot of social media gaming platforms, like a lot of news platforms, a lot of tournament organizing platforms, have helped them scale to millions of users and engagement in terms of social media metrics. Now, coming to Score, I have a presentation. Just give me 1 second, I'll just pull it up. Yeah, hope it's visible. So yeah, coming back to it, we're a gaming infrastructure project. We help building tools and we help companies and projects in engaging their communities and also help them in scaling their communities. So that's a gist of what we do. Coming to how we do it, our teams comes from traditional Web 2 gaming or mainstream gaming community. We who have worked with a lot of multiple esports teams, tournaments, gaming platforms, a lot of creators, and we've done a lot of online and offline activations with these. So we have a good network what we have built over this last 4 5 years, and also working with a lot of gaming influencers, gaming platforms. We understand how gaming audience think or react or what they require. So collectively, we have around 50 plus years of experience. If we collectively add all our team's experience. So using this extensive network, what we have built, which is essentially a total of 600 million gamers. So what we do is we help Web3 games or companies, Web2 games, Gen Z brands, tournaments, and sports club of with this huge distribution what we have built, and also help using our community and fan engagement tools which we have built. So I'll just later on I'll get into what it is exactly, but just to give you an overview, this is it. So again, our services essentially caters to companies and projects who's looking for expanding into gaming, or let's say who wants gamers, and also essentially Gen Z audience. So if you talk about our extensive distribution network, right, it comes to us as I mentioned earlier. Our team has been working in this industry or the gaming industry for the last 6 7 years. We have worked with a lot of creators, influencers, gaming platforms, and such. So when we all came to Score, the idea behind it also was to solve a big problem, which was the distribution network. Or a lot of Web3 games essentially don't have mainstream adoption. That's what we're essentially trying to solve with this. So with our network with the KOLs, the gaming partners, we have around 600 million gamers across Asia Pacific, specifically South Asia. So yeah, the next slide. So essentially, if you look at our platform, right, we have two verticals. One is our distribution network, and other one is the community building and fan engagement tools. So distribution network, again, we have around 5,000 cables connected to us, 25 plus gaming partners. So these partners have their own platforms. They host tournaments. They have users coming to their platform to play games, might be playing tournaments, might be, etc. And we also connected with a lot of 600 colleges across South Asia, which who essentially are who host LAN events in their college dorms, college events, and such. And coming to other vertical, which is our fan engagement and community building tools, this is where we have our 3D live streaming platform, which is very unique, and our tournament engine and our questing platform. So if I talk about our 3D live streaming platform, so this is wherein essentially you can host any live event, any AMAs or any tournament. So essentially, if I talk about what tournament I'm talking about here, for people who don't know tournaments or esports ecosystem, so similar to sports, gaming has a competitive environment called as esports, where skilled gamers called esports players compete in teams or individual for, let's say, a large prize pool. So similar to how your NFL, Premier League, different games have the NFL, you have this league structure. Yeah, games parts of say, teams participate in this. So similarly in esports, there are teams or, let's say, players individually who participate for a prize pool, and they have their people viewing that event for to watch high level gameplay, and also they have a story behind this whole esports ecosystem. So having an esports structure for any game brings you longevity for a game. If you look at, there are multiple games like CS:GO, Dota, League of Legends. If you heard about them, they've been in the space for over 20-25 years. But if you look at other games such as which keep coming and going, there's no engagement activity or there's no connectivity there. So essentially, what Score is trying to help a lot of Web3 games and projects is to build this engagement through our network, through the through live streaming platform and our tournament engine. So lastly, we have our questing platform, which essentially is a discovery platform for Web3 and projects targeting Gen Z and gaming audience. This is just the tools what we have right now, but we're building more tools similar to enhance, let's say, our distribution network, and also to add more tools to build communities and engage communities. One second, I just yeah, sorry about that. Yeah. So coming to the problems, this is where you'll probably understand it a bit more how all these dots connect with each other, right? So what we see the problems in Web3 right now? There's lack of Web2 adoption, or there are no mainstream gamers who are playing Web3 games. And essentially, if you go to any particular KOL or any campaign you guys do, it's all on a fixed metric. There is, so let's say you work with any particular KOL, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. There's always a risk behind that. And the other problem you say is there's a lot of botting. There are no active users in playing games. Apart from that, there's low retention, which many Web3 games face, and also there's low visibility for games to have their exposure or go to mainstream. So that's where we come in. One is we give direct access to Web3 games to the network what we have built, essentially KOLs, our gaming partners, and such. And we not just give the access, we also help them with these kind of campaigns or a structure wherein they don't need to have any risks taken. So essentially, how this would work is let's say a game Web3 game comes to us, explains the requirements, saying they need X, let's say an FPS gaming audience, or let's say a MOBA gaming audience. We can help prioritize, we can choose the KOLs for them, we can plan the campaign for them. And the best part is they don't really need to take any risks here. We take all the risk. When I say risk, here essentially we can tell you if you spend an X amount of money, we're going to deliver you X amount of metrics. So this is very convenient for a lot of brands or a lot of products to get to us. So if you go to other KOLs, they might charge you a fixed fee and you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So we're solving that part. And essentially the inactive users or bots will get solved when we essentially get actual mainstream gamers who play games for, let's say, casually. They'll be going to a Web3 game. How traditionally it's working right now is people who play these kind of games play only for the, let's say, for the reward. When there's no reward or incentive, they back off or they delete the app. So when you get actual gamers who are interested to play these kind of games, the longevity also sticks. and also to help with retention, visibility. This is where our tournament 3D tournament comes in. Our 3D live streaming platform also comes in, wherein you're getting a space to showcase your game to a wide audience, and also the space what we have built with the arenas and such. You can engage your communities, you can build your communities, you can have polls, you can have mini games, you can have leaderboards, you can have watch parties with your audience and such. So this is just not just a B2C solution, it's also a B2B solution. Coming to the second part or the second vertical which we have, which is our 3D live streaming platform. So as mentioned earlier also, you can host live events, watch parties, AMAs and such. So essentially games and projects can utilize this platform to host their own tournaments using our tournament engine. So our tournament engine essentially, even if you don't know what a tournament is, you want to we handle that part in the sense from right from the scheduling to the standings, all the progressions of that part. So a lot of we want to bring in this culture, as I mentioned earlier. Also, a lot of traditional games have this esports ecosystem. We want to help a lot of Web3 games build that structure for you. So even if you don't know how it works, the tournament engine handles everything in that regard. It handles the bracketing for you, registration of the users. Of course, that the streaming part can be done through our 3D live streaming platform. So net, you can essentially come to our platform, build an ecosystem for yourself, use our community building tools to immerse your audience, right? So again, the for about this arena, the best part is a lot of traditional, let's say if you're streaming on YouTube or Twitch, it lacks interactivity. So we offer that interactivity wherein you have a stadium like experience, you can interact with the audiences next to you, you can interact with the ecosystem. So let's say if you're having a like a tournament per se, uh, Dota tournament or a CS:GO tournament, or for any live event for that sake, you can have brands that but the users can interact with the brands in an immersive way. That's one problem we're solving. And also through this, the arena what we're built is all customizable. So if your game wants to have a community built in this, wherein you want interactions with your users, you want to have gamified leaderboards, you want to have questing, you want to have retention based challenges, all these can be implemented through our what web tools we've built in. So this customizable arena, then the immersive experience and the interactivity is what Score brings into product projects. So essentially, we're solving the fan engagement aspect of it, wherein you can interact with the other people. There's a discovery for new games also. So as I mentioned, let's say if you're streaming a FPS game, for let's say we're doing a CS:GO tournament, you can have ads and immersive ads for a Web3 game who's also an FPS game. In that way, people who come into that event to watch a CSGO tournament might also interact or check out the Web3 game. So that's a direct conversion wherein you're accessing the hardcore gamers or mainstream gamers. So in an immersive and interactive advertisement way, you can onboard these guys, do some activities and such. So just to give an overview, this is how the environment looks. You have this lot of ad placements you see in the top left corner. Apart from that, you have all the seating areas where people can interact with each other. Apart from that, you have the in the center you have a lot of five seating areas where you have virtual avatars playing the game, and also you can do a lot of meet and greets. Any interactive you can think of, you can have this done in an ecosystem. So, to coming down to how this all fits in to our roadmap. So, our roadmap now looks like where we'll be having our TG in the first week of December. Post that, we'll be hosting a lot of Web2 based esports tournaments, which will be streamed on our platform. So, the reason we're doing this is to get the Web2 core audience onboarded to our platform, right? This is not something which we have doing it for the first time. We and our partners, gaming partners, have done this in the past. Cumulatively, we have reached around 250 million views over the last 5-6 years. So we've been operating in the Web2 space for the longest time. So when we saw these issues in Web3 with the retention, with the engagement activity, and to build this esports ecosystem, that's where Score comes in with the all-in-one solution which can help brands do this. So coming to the next part, this is our business model wherein you have your events and KOLs, the distribution network what we have built will be onboarded to score using, let's say, events, the KOLs and such. And these users will essentially be directed to brands or any companies, be it Web 2, Web 3. If it's a Web 3, we can direct audience to their games, do some campaigns, based retention based campaigns or any KPI based campaigns. If it's a Web 2 game or a Web 2 company who's looking to engage with a lot of Gen Z audience, or let's say essentially gamers, they can come to our platform, connect with us, and they can showcase ads in an immersive way. So essentially, our business model works for both Web 2 and the Web 3 ecosystem. So, and the revenue from all the brands, activations, whatever we do, fuels our events to host events and also to pay our distribution network. So, if I have to summarize, this is what we cater to. We cater to early stage, mid stage, and large stage projects. So, essentially, if you look at our ecosystem, right, what we have built, it can look in a sense you have this like the community and fan building to engage and grow your audience. And also, you have a distribution network with our KOLs, gaming partners to scale your game and get wider adoption, or let's say, bring your game to a larger audience. So, in let's say for an early stage project, we help them with community building, let's say market validation. If you want feedback from with our users on what works, what doesn't work, we can get it done. If they want tools to build something, or build wallet, or build APIs, or post back metrics, we can help them do that. Or even if they want to understand if their product is fit for, let's say, an FPS game or anything of that matter, we can help with feedback loops, the logistics of it, operations of it, and such. And also, since we're having a lot of companies partnering up with us, we have over 140 plus Web3 companies, over 200 plus games and brands connected with us. We can essentially help them network with each other to again learn more, right? So this is for the early stage. If I talk about large scale projects, who are primarily operating in, let's say, only the Web3 ecosystem, we offer them to a lot of branding in the sense out of in the Web2 space. So they can partner up with our existing gaming partners, or if they want to partner up with our KOL network, wherein if you see a lot of how Web2 works, right? You have gamers like Ninja, Tifu, all these streamers stream their games on Twitch, YouTube, and one of our streamer is also known as Total Gaming, has over 30 million subscribers on YouTube. So if you want access to these kind of networks, we help you with that. And again, this is all been done through our ROI based metrics, wherein you don't have to essentially pay for something and you don't know what you get. You can essentially come to us and we guarantee you the metrics. Let's say we can guarantee you 1,000 signups with day 7 retention. All these can be achieved through our network. So again, with this, we can drive engagement, loyalty with our community building tools. So you can have retention based campaigns. All these can be done. So essentially, what I'm telling is we cater to all early stage, mid sized projects also. So this is one more thing. What we've done is we have been funded from a sports tech fund who have companies like Manchester United, Sony, NFL, Chelsea. What we're doing for them is this is very unique, and I wanted to bring this up, so I added in this deck. So what we'll be doing with them is with our community building and the customizable arenas, what we've built for the bridging Web 2 and Web 3, we're offering the same services to them to essentially engage their community, bring in, build their community, engage their community, and also to amplify or bring in new revenue streams also. Just to give an example on how would work. Consider, let's say, a Manchester United, a football club. In their particular app, there'll be, let's say, we have a tab, or we can integrate it with their section wherein they can enter the Manchester arena, where you could have stadiums, their arenas, then the memorabilia, all these customized ecosystem. And their fans or users can do watch parties of their games. They can have paywall content done. They want to do exclusive uh, access to certain videos or block certain paywall, behind a paywall they can do that. Apart from that, if they want to do some kind of activity with the users, or let's say they want to do a meet and greet with their sports athletes or their staff team, that can be done. Any interaction you can think of which can be done. And also essentially what you're doing is you're connecting people from, let's say, one part of the world to other part of the world. That's a very unique concept. Apart from that, you can also have new revenue systems, you can have unlock ticketing solutions, you can empower ownership, decentralization, and also the access what we bring through our extensive network can be provided to these guys also. So we're working on a pilot campaign with one of their companies. So soon we'll have hear more about it. Yeah. So yeah, generally this is what Score does, helps company engage and scale their users. Again, want to thank you guys for the opportunity you've given me here. If there's any brands or projects looking to integrate or want to know more about us, here are my details, email and Telegram. Happy to connect. And thank you for your time. If there's any questions, happy to answer them.
Awesome, thank you, Manas. Yeah, and I agree. Especially in the Web3 gaming community, a lot of questions that were basically asked. I think there was a discussion as well back in Token 2049. As far as I remember, how are we going to retain or how are we going to onboard basically new users, especially Web2, especially people who are not familiar in Web3? How are we going to onboard them? And more importantly, how are we going to retain them? I think Score is a very, very good solution for that. I like the platform and the solutions you offer. So for those people who are actually watching right now, if you want to learn more about Score, I've provided the link to their website. Or if you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in the comments below. Now, I know you won't be able to write a comment on Twitter, but you may be able to send a comment on YouTube and on our Twitch as well. So thank you again, Manas from Score. He's the Chief Marketing Officer. So thank you very much. Up next in line, we have Chris Chuang from Dynamic.
All right. Hey, everyone. Just also want to say thanks for having me here today. Great to connect with everyone that's on this call and those who are watching this. So yeah, my name is Chris Chuang, and I lead BD at Dynamic. We're a frictionless user login and embedded wallets provider. Previously, so just a quick intro on myself. I came from Chainlink Labs, where I was there for about 3 years. I led various go-to-market teams there, saw the growth of Chainlink from just a few dozen projects to over 2,000, as well as the launch of various new products. And in my professional life before Web3, I came from the advertising technology and mobile app space, where I also worked with a lot of gaming clients. So I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen here. So give me a second. So at Dynamic, I work primarily with our enterprise customers, and I've had the fortune of working actually very closely with a lot of our customers, especially in the gaming and the social consumer verticals, as well as many others. Spend a lot of my time every day basically thinking about wallets, and I spend even more time talking with a lot of builders about the challenges that they face around user onboarding. And we're constantly talking about, how can they upgrade their wallet UX so that ultimately they can, maximize user growth, user retention, and really just the overall success of their app. So for today, I thought I would just show a couple of live examples of just how apps, especially games, are leveraging Dynamic today. And I can also share some of the unique unlocks that we can do for really any Web3 game. So just a quick intro on the company itself. So we're a Series A company. We're backed by A16Z, Founders Fund, Solana Ventures, and some others. You can basically find us integrated like all over Web3. So anywhere from like, say, Magic Eden, if you ever buy any NFTs there, to games like various Animoca titles, all the way to like consumer brands like Lamborghini. And we also power a lot of the chains themselves in terms of the apps that the chains have, such as Barachain, Say, Eclipse, and many others. So you can just think of us essentially as a developer tool. We are just enabling the most frictionless types of wallet connections, as well as embedded wallets. And we basically handle everything that happens the moment after a user clicks on login. So I thought it might be cool if I actually just show a couple of live examples. So I'm going to switch my tab over here. And really, this just kind of shows you the different flavors of what a dynamic integration looks like. So here I'm like on Magic Eden, and essentially the moment you click on Connect Wallet, this thing that pops up that lets you log in with your choice of different wallets across multiple different chains. This is dynamic. So for example, here, this is a good example of a multi-chain wallet connector in that a user can log in with their choice of a Solana wallet, their choice of a Bitcoin wallet, various EVM wallets, even Cosmos-based wallets. And so from here, you can just get a sense of like, what Dynamic would do, right? We're handling
There seems to be a technical problem. Hmm. Oops. Okay, got it. Okay, so sorry for that, folks. There seems to be a technical problem on the dynamic side, so we'll just wait for him to come back on. So basically, what he was selling that is he was integrating basically user wallets. He wasn't able to finish the presentation, so let's just wait. Moving on. Do you think, guys, we should wait for a few minutes, or does anyone have any questions about the previous presentation about score? If you have any questions, folks, just feel free to write it on the comments on YouTube or Twitch. Feel free, but if not, that's okay as well. So let's give it a minute while we wait for Chris to come back on. So while waiting, I just want to ramble on of the things that are happening right now in the Web3 gaming community. So DevCon has been crazy lately. There are a lot of projects. I don't know if you've seen Twitter. It's just booming with different types of side events. BGA has had its side event with Lightflow recently. Back in November 12th, it was full packed with a lot of amazing speakers and a lot of guests as well. So I think that's a good thing to highlight. I don't know if there's anything interesting on your side, but if not, that's okay as well. Okay, so let's wait for Chris for just a few more minutes. If not, we'll have to move on with ethics.
Hey guys, sorry. I think my internet may have just died.
That's okay. Uh, yeah, we're just waiting for you. You were in the middle of saying you were on Magic Eden and you were saying about how dynamic works on different types of wallets. That's where the
Yeah,
conversation.
let me go back. Sorry about that. So essentially, I'm just showing you different flavors of like what a dynamic integration could look like. Here's another example, which is an Animoca game Motorverse. So the moment you click on Connect, here you can see that they're actually letting the users log in with various methods. So they're actually just choosing the top 3 wallets that they care about, in which case they put front and center on the top. They also let users log in with different social logins, like log in with X, log in with Discord, log in with Twitch, etc. And they also let users log in with their choice of an email as well. If you go to another game here, so for example, this one's called Bracket Game. I'm going to actually switch my tab here. And I think while that's loading, I'll just show another example here. So this is Perion. Here, like this is a different type of integration where we actually power the entire wallet across the entire ecosystem. I'm going to actually just switch over back to our demo. The way to think about dynamic is that, you can customize the entire experience, right? And so everything down from like the design, from like the colors, the fonts, the shaping and the sizes, all of that can be totally customized to match the look and feel of your game. And then as mentioned, like all the different sort of like login methods, it can look something like this, log in with email and log in with social. To give like a more friendlier Web 2 type of experience. Or it can look something like this, right? You can let users primarily just kind of like log in with wallets. All of that can be totally customized to do like whatever makes the most sense for your game. One thing that I think we've been seeing a lot of trends with in terms of games is like the idea that we want to have a more seamless login experience, but we also want it to be something that is like friendly for all types, right? Whether you're a crypto native gamer or whether you're just more of like a Web 2 type gamer. So adding something like a social login or an email login helps tremendously with that. So as a quick example, I'm just going to do a quick social login with my Gmail here. And then you'll see like it kind of just logs you in immediately, right? There's no pop-ups, there's no redirects. The way to think about this is it's a wallet that's tied to your game. But really, like, you shouldn't even think of it as a wallet. It's really just an account. Here you can see, like, for example, in this example account, there's actually multiple different wallets that are linked under here. So for example, you have like a embedded wallet here, you have like a Phantom wallet here, you also have a Soulflare wallet, so on and so forth. And these can all be, totally, you can switch the signers between them. One of the things that we have built out in these embedded wallets is the fact that you can link other social profiles in there and allow your users to log in with different methods, but also have them associated under one account. The reason that could be really powerful for a lot of games is what you can do on the back end in terms of user management. So as an example, to just see like what the user information payload looks like on the back end, you get access to all the verified credentials. So whether it's the embedded wallet itself, whether it's the different wallets that they may choose to link to their accounts, such as a MetaMask or such as a Phantom, or all the social logins that they associate. This would be all information that you would be able to have API exports for, as well as webhooks to do more powerful stuff on top of that. Some other things that you can also do in here, and just actually one thing to quickly clarify, because we get this question a lot. If you set up an embedded wallet, these wallets are fully non-custodial. So to the extent that like I, as the end user of this wallet, I can go in here at any point and export, the private key or the recovery phrases and take it elsewhere, right? And so it's a fully non-custodial wallet. Something else that's also important to note is just what the signing could look like. So I'm actually going to log out of this one. And I'm going to actually just make like a brand new wallet for purposes of showing this part off. One thing that you can also customize is just how does the transaction signing or MFA options look like? So one thing I'm going to just demonstrate is that's gaining a lot of traction with games that we work with is the idea of a no transaction MFA. So if you're playing a game, especially like if there's like a wallet involved and like it's built on crypto rails, really you don't really want users to have like this sort of pop-up experience in every time they're doing a transaction, because it's kind of jarring for the game experience. So one of the things that you can set up is this concept of like a no transaction MFA. And so essentially what happens is after you sign in there, there is no pop-up. It just kind of signs it automatically. The last thing that I'll kind of point out also is more so just in terms of some other things that we can do. So I'm going to actually switch my screen share to Telegram. So I'm going to stop share, and then I'm going to share my screen here again. So a lot of we're seeing like a lot of games actually have a concept of like a Telegram mini app, and essentially what can happen there is looks like something like this. So this is let me make sure that you guys can see this. This is a demo mini app of Dynamics. So imagine if you're a game that happens to have a Telegram mini app. One of the things we can do is also spin up an embedded wallet in there in a very seamless zero-click manner. So I'm just going to like open this app up, and it's going to happen pretty quick. So all I've done is just open up the app, and we actually just spun up an embedded wallet for it, like automatically. And essentially, like this wallet that was just created for purposes of this demo, it created both an EVM wallet as well as a Solana wallet. But same as before, this is a fully non-custodial wallet. The user can go ahead and export their private keys whenever they want. They can still associate other socials in here. They can send and receive crypto. They can link another wallet into this account, so on and so forth. So that's something else that we're seeing that's been really popular with certain kind of with Web3 games if they have like Telegram mini apps as part of their properties. So in conclusion, I think some of the ways to think about dynamic and really just like wallet off, we're seeing as important as just having a lot of configurability in terms of like how you build out your login and user onboarding process. The other thing to think about is, at least with dynamic, we offer a lot of different options for how you can customize it, right? On a speed versus security spectrum. In terms of design, in terms of like, do you want to let users use passkeys to sign or have no transaction MFA? One other concept we see getting a lot of traction is progressive onboarding, right? So like the idea is a new user into your game, they might not need to jump through so many hoops in order to start playing the game, right? You want to make it as seamless as possible, maybe like an email or social login. But let's say later on, as they're accumulating more valuable NFTs or accumulating more tokens of value, at that point, maybe you can then, yeah, and you can set this with dynamic, but you can prompt them to set more security, right? Like you can say, at this point, you might want to start setting up a passkey. At this point, you might want to set up an additional account recovery method. So yeah, these are just some of the things that we work on at Dynamic that we think a lot about. If you are interested in talking more, check us out at dynamic.xyz. You can also ping me directly anytime on Telegram. I'm just dynamic_Chris. And yeah, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Chris. That was very insightful, and I agree. I actually have experienced some kind of problems when I was still playing back in 2022. A lot of these problems were actually with wallets, especially coming from a Web 2 system. It was just actually difficult, especially for Web 3 games who are not optimized. Let's say, for example, for scaling like multiple players. I think Dynamic actually solves this problem, and it's actually quite amazing when you think about it. Like the process is actually seamless, and it's actually very fully customizable. You don't have to like integrate your wallet. You can just use your email, which of course mitigates the number of scams, because back in Axie Infinity days, the most difficult thing about doing these types of scholarships is was getting scammed. And of course the um what do you call this, with the managers and the scholars as well, scams are really rampant. And I think Dynamic solves this very, very easily. So great, a really great platform, great service. So if you guys who are watching right now, if you want to learn more about Dynamic, I've posted the link on the YouTube comments. So if you want to check out Dynamic, Chris, if you could also send on our private chat here your Telegram so people can reach out to you just in case. If you could share that, so I could share that with the on the comments as well, that'd be great. Awesome. So I've shared Chris's handle as well on Telegram on the comment section. So if you want to learn more about Dynamic, feel free to reach out to him. Okay, so I think that's it. And last but not the least, we have Timothy Tello from Ethics. The floor is yours.
All right, thanks for having me. Again, I want to thank the BGA and Flav and Seb and all those guys for all the support they've given to ethics, and I'll just jump right into it. So let's see. Can't tell if it's showing or not. Can you guys see my screen? There it goes. All right, cool. So I'll give a little bit of my background. So I've been in the blockchain gaming space really since the beginning, but started out in traditional video games, owned a couple studios, was on ID at Xbox, helped build the first influencer gaming companies. Um, been in the industry for a little over a decade, and then was one of the first people to ever build a Web3 gaming company. Helped work with Janti Kunani when he founded Polygon. He was our lead engineer way back in 2016. Wrote the patent for the use of custodial wallets on blockchain for video games. I had the first and only SEC no action letter ever given for an ERC20 token, and then had the first game in Apple, Google, Steam, second on Epic. Really kind of helped pave the pathway for what we know for Web3 gaming today. So ethics is kind of where I think gaming needs to go and where it is. And it's really all around monetization and data usage. So we started out as an IDFA replacement a couple of years ago. A lot of data laws went into effect, and those data laws essentially made it really hard to scale, free to play mobile games and ad games. Because you weren't allowed to you were no longer allowed to advertise to people based on their personal information. And with the blockchain being inherently decentralized, we believe that we could correct that actions through the use of the blockchain. So then we took it a step further, and because the blockchain is essentially in Web3 is essentially the removal of middlemen. We created the truly first ever direct-to-consumer monetization model. So if you consume an ad, that ad directly responds and pays you directly instead of paying out to Facebook or Google or anyone else. And then you choose how you wish to use those funds. So gaming is having a lot of issues right now, mostly on the LTV side. The cost per acquisition is going through the roof with lower and lower LTVs. So we know that blockchain is a necessity that's needed in the Web3 space or in the Web2 space, but the problem is a lot of Web2 gaming companies don't want to touch cryptocurrencies. So we've developed a model that follows that no action letter that we got from the SEC that allows them to monetize both with ads and credit cards in different ways without ever needing to touch the crypto itself. So we do payment processing, we do the ads, and we do a few other things. So it's one platform for all things. So we have our identity management, which is again going back to that IDFA model, the digital goods and currency reseller. So like I said, we have payments and digital wallets that we can handle across the entireties of our networks. We call it the vault. It's basically a wallet aggregator. So we would work with a company like a Dynamic or like a Sequence Horizon and others, and we would aggregate those wallets down into one computable visual for a player to look at instead of having to have 10, 12, 15 different wallets across a massive amount of ecosystems. And then again, direct to consumer ad network. So each of those wallets and those ads being aggregated down is being looked at from a consumption model. We're taking and looking at the games that you're playing. We're looking at the pieces that you're buying, the items that you're buying, the colors, everything that we can see, and we're using that to recreate a digital fingerprint that can then be advertised to, in which you yourself get all the revenue for. So again, digital vault, so the ID management, securely stores, it's an aggregator of different wallets, so a centralized hub of all wallets. We have a single sign-on similar to what Dynamic was talking about. So we're actually backed by Xsolla. Xsolla is the largest credit card and monetization company in video games today. We have 2 billion monthly active users across Roblox, Steam, Fortnite, Epic, etc. So once you roll up a wallet on one of those games, it automatically will roll up a custodial wallet or a centralized hub version of ours. So we could start looking at all those transactions and that data without ever having to look at you. Again, we look at you as a wallet ID, not as a person or your name or likeness. And then we create transactions across, so we can on ramp, we can do payments, we do so basically like a walking, talking exchange, which we believe is a big issue in the entirety of Web3 right now. So we enable payments to all apps. We do direct payouts. We could do so as as Score was talking about with these esports platforms, one of the big issues with esports, I think they're trying to solve, is a lot of those players actually don't get paid after a tournament, which is a big issue that Web3 could solve. Well, even then, if let's say one chain, Polygon or whomever wants to host that esports outfit, right? A lot of players still want to be paid out in cash, so we could facilitate that transaction for them and convert it straight into cash. We have full chargeback insurance through our partners, and we support 700 different payment types across the world, and almost every nation, except for like a few that are being blocked right now, like Russia, Vietnam, etc. But for the most part, we're in every region across the world. So, not only do we do our digital goods and our cryptos, but we also do digital goods. We work with all sorts of different gaming partners, casino-based gaming. So basically anything that's high risk, we could work with. We do loyalty and reward systems. So same as the ads, it's essentially an airdrop, right? So if you're seeing an ad and consuming that time, that airdrop drops directly to you. We can use that as a retention mechanism across our networks. We can use it as a way to push people from one game to another or from one event to another. And so we use our aggregated wallet system and our centralized hub to help promote the usership across a bunch of different games and a bunch of different platforms. And then we can even escrow different things. So another issue is in gaming is I think there's going to become a time where NFTs and digital rights management becomes the way that Web3 really interacts with major games like Call of Duty and others. And there's going to be items that have such scarcity that they're not going to want people to just have. So you could have escrow systems and shared ownership. You could rent. You could do a bunch of different things through this aggregated wallet system in which you could borrow, share, or co-own different assets throughout that. And then, of course, we provide the ability to have secondary markets within your game and do in-game sales with payouts directly to players without anyone needing to be a merchant of record. Advertising, again, we use a direct-to-consumer model. So how that works and how the brands in gaming don't have to touch cryptocurrency is we work with all the Web2 gaming companies to purchase their tokens at wholesale. We then let you watch an ad. We then reward you with our ethics token. That ethics token is then traded directly with, say, Roblox, where Roblox will then directly send me an invoice. I'll pay that invoice out of the escrow, and I'll burn the tokens that you use to trade. You as a player don't know what's happening. It's all custodially handled through both the Xola wallets and our wallets or across the network itself. We can do a bunch of different things. Top tier branding integration is simply being able to move to the internet once we're kind of outside of gaming. We can look at a bunch of different things. So one of the examples I like to give is, here in America, women spend a ton of money at Target, but there's a massive issue with inflation. I believe inflation comes from the ad side. If you think about it, it's about 10 cents for an ad to be viewed. It's about $3 for an ad to be clicked on. It's about a 5% click-through rate. You do the math, and you're talking about sending 100 people to a website costs about 25 bucks. Of that, you might get a 2% conversion rate. So you got to go back and multiply that number by 10. So you've spent $250 in ads. The efficacy is gone, and they didn't do anything. The conversion rate's 2%. So they had to raise the price of goods. Now, if you were to change that model and give these women the $250 directly, and then tell them when they walked into Target or went on the website that they had that money available to them, well, Target gets all their ad money back, and that person is 80% likely to make a purchase based on the fact that she's been rewarded that ad money directly. So it's a full flywheel. Users earn rewards, developer sells goods, advertisers pay more for targeted users because the targeting is much better. When you think about it from a digital fingerprint and what we're looking at, the aggregation of these wallets, you can understand much better. Let's take a Rolex, for example. A Rolex costs, $20,000. A Rolex, the brand, doesn't know that you're a Rolex fan until you can afford to make that $20,000 purchase. But in Roblox, a Rolex watch or a watch similar to might cost sub 1 cent. So we can learn very early about who you are based on your consumption rather than your personal information. And so, it's the first really Web3 solution for all games. It's cost efficient. It enables Web3 dynamics. It's approved by the SEC, and we do have a patent, but we don't enforce that patent. We just have it because we were the first ones to ever do something like that. But yeah, that's ethics in a nutshell.
Awesome, really great presentation, Tim. Yeah, and I agree. If you guys have any questions about ethics, feel free to send it in the comments below. I have also sent the link through ethics on our comment section, and I think this is a really great lineup. So thank you again, guys, for attending our new members presentation. Again, every single month we host these types of events. Be sure to tune in on November, last week of November, for our demo day as well. So we've got some really, really good products or some new members as well and projects in our new members presentation. Also, one thing, guys, if possible, could you share your decks with me after this presentation? Just so we're gonna do a recap of what has happened here in the new members presentation, and we're gonna share it on social media as well, just so people can see, and we'll be providing links as well, if that's okay with you guys.
Sure.
All right, awesome. Okay, there we go. You can also reach out to the CEO of ethics. I'm gonna drag. I'm also gonna drag. Yeah. You can also reach out to Timothy over on Telegram if you're interested in learning more about ethics. So of course, score as well. There we go. All right, I think that's it. If you don't have any questions, feel free to reach out to these companies' projects, and we're also gonna be featuring them as well sometime later this week. So thank you again, guys, for joining our new members presentation. And again, welcome to the Blockchain Game Alliance. Happy to have you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for your time.
All right, everyone. Have a great one. Thank you again for joining.